Hey guys, so I printed out my own culturegram. That way, when I'm building this out with a potential client, they can see that they're not the only one going through this and that it's a lot easier to go with your own steps through your own boxes. And so they can see how easy it is to fill out. And if they have any questions, they can revert back to what you went through. So my example I'm going to use is someone from India, and I'll say that's an elder versus someone that might be a younger generation. I would have them each fill out their culturegram. That way they're able to depict each section of what represents them and what they identify as their culture versus someone that might have that age gap and not understand. So the first section I'm going to touch on is going to be health beliefs. This does not mean that they need to run 12 miles a day or be the most fit person ever, but if they do yoga or meditate and that's part of their spiritual practice, or even if they are a strict vegetarian, that's going to be a health belief that they strictly believe in, and that is a part of their culture. Next is going to be time in the community, and I'm going to also bring that into reasons for relocating. So if it was an elder from India, did they relocate as an immigrant? Were they born and raised in India and are still there, while their younger generation might have immigrated over to America? And then what was the reason for relocating? Were they having any oppression or any trauma that affected that move? Did they have to separate their family? Did they have to move for a better lifestyle, education, work, health-related activities? Whatever it may be, these different sections are able to break it down. And for someone that might have been born and raised in America and had a bunch of different privileges versus someone that lived in India and had their own privileges, they can compare and contrast what they identify as oppression or what they identify as a privilege. They can put each other in their own shoes and kind of see, wow, I didn't know my grandmother went through that, or she's never talked about that before. But being a clinician and being able to have that session and that openness there might be able to kind of bridge the gap, more or less, between the two cultures and how they personally identify. So talking about culture and religion might be a little bit more self-explanatory for someone that might be Hindu, Hindi, but if the younger generation isn't practicing that and that's affecting their relationship, the older generation can go on to say that that disturbs them or bugs them and show all the reasons why they've chosen this and why they follow that rich culture, and try to just ease them into not forcing them by any means to want to practice that religion, but trying to figure out the reason why that has stopped. And then we kind of go down to the trauma. Once again, was there a trauma? Or is it even a death in the family? That can be extremely traumatic for someone. So how did one person take it versus the other person? And then kind of going up to values, education, work. If you were female, were you expected to have children, raise them in the home, and take very good care of your family? Or if you're a man, are you supposed to go out and get a very good job and provide and bring home the bacon? Or vice versa? Were you raised to be a very strong, independent female and go out and get your PhD and raise yourself very independently? It just depends on what the home is. So by being able to break that down helps tremendously when trying to figure out where someone came from or what kind of values they're looking at. And then last but not least, legal status. So if they are an immigrant, are they a legal citizen? Have they taken the test? Are they just visiting? Are they on a visa? Legal status could also be if they had ever been imprisoned. So that's a very touchy area, and that's why I would like to touch on it last, because going around you kind of get a deeper rooted feeling of who you are, who the other person is, and respect, and where that one might be a little bit more touchy, you kind of have started to build that rapport with them. So I'd like to go in that order, and hopefully this was a good demonstration on how to fill out a culturegram respectfully with your patients. Thanks.